course about how to learn the 12 major scales for the piano. And the reason why I wanted to just show this introduction is for people to get an idea of what is it that you expect from the course, the planner, and why you would take it, and what is it that you need, and if you're ready for it. Now, if you're a person who it's really for people who are beginning pianists and intermediate pianists, because advanced pianists are probably already know all of these things, and this is not probably going to provide much information for them. But if you're just starting out, if it's been a while, or if you're intermediate and you're sort of struggling with improving on your techniques, you would want to take this course. And what happens is that throughout the course, you might be doing this. You might be sitting at a piano and have absolutely no clue, what to start, how to practice scales. Maybe you're taking piano lessons and your piano teacher tells you all the time, practice your scales, practice your scales. And you sit down and you do this. And then you show up and the teacher says, "You didn't practice." And you said, "Practice? I know I did." The problem is most people don't teach you how to actually practice scales in order for you to go from that to this. Now, the last part is more the improvising, which in this class I don't go over. But the only reason why I was able to improvise the way that I do is because I was running notes on the scale. And because I understand the scales and I've practiced the scales and I know the scales. The first part with me going up and down, that was scales. In order to get to that point, you have to know how to practice the scales. And sitting down and just playing the one octave over and over again is not going to get you to where you need to be more advanced. Now, this is supposed to run over 8 weeks. You might find that it takes you 6 weeks. It might take you 20 weeks. It doesn't matter. Now, are you on the end going to be able to run up and down? Probably not. I'm not going to promise you something that you may or may not be able to accomplish. But by the end, you should be able to at least play the scales consistently together with the right hand and the left hand and knowing the proper ways of doing those. Before you take the course, you might say, do I have the proper equipment to take? I'm like, what do I need? I would say if you're a starting off pianist, never go off and buy a bunch of equipment if you are not sure if this is what you want to do. Now, if you've been to your grandma's house 50,000 times and every time you go, you gravitate towards the piano, or your child is doing that and they just love it, and it may be some time for you to start with something small. Doesn't mean that you should go out and get a big old grand piano, baby grand piano. There's all sorts of different steps to have. This right here is called a spinet, and it has the same amount of keys as a grand piano is, but it's smaller. And as you can see, make sure I don't have anything kind of crazy over here, it fits very nicely. And sometimes it was called like a parlor piano, because it's not these these big huge grand pianos that are hard to to put into a home, which most homes back in the old days were not, 2,000, 3,000 square feet homes. This spinet right here cost me $100. They're horrible to move. They're very heavy, so you would need, with this, you don't really need a piano mover. If you're getting a grand piano, something very, very expensive, you would need to get a professional mover. But a normal movers would be able to move this for you. I have seen these free on Facebook. Oftentimes, people have family members that pass and they just don't have any place to put it. They don't need it. And you can oftentimes find these free on Facebook. You just have to pay for somebody to come pick it up. The other thing that the better one, of course, is like the baby grand or the grand. I have one at my parents' house. I love it. It's the sound is phenomenal. You can't beat it, but that might be out of some people's price points. So spinet is a good option for a normal piano, and then a baby grand is going to get you the best quality sound. The next one down, or the next option, I wouldn't say next one down. The next option is an electric piano, a weighted key piano. And people say weighted key, and what that means is there is some give. There's a weight to this key. And so the weighted pianos, the electric pianos, work very similar to a normal piano because they're weighted. So if you're looking for a next step up, make sure you get one that has weighted keys. Now what's nice about it is they're smaller. You can plug in headphones, and so you won't disturb people. You can put it in your room. They're lightweight. You probably can have, I could probably carry one around. I've carried one around. It's not that heavy. And you can have stands and things of that nature. So it's a very nice alternative to getting a real piano. Just make sure it at least has a pedal to it, where you can, it's a sustaining pedal that makes the sound go from like this to this, which makes it smooth and nice and sounding. If you have no other, the other alternative is just like a keyboard that you would have. Oftentimes they're like about 66 keys. They're not weighted. And then also the electric ones that have the little fancier little sounds and things of that nature. If you're interested in like writing some music or things of that nature. I wouldn't recommend like the roll-up piano. Those are nice if you are just kind of want to fumble around with music a little bit, or you want to learn some keys, but they're not going to be any good for you to learn to do scales and really improve on your scalings. Now, beyond purchasing the ebook with the planner and stuff, the only other thing that you need is this bad boy right here. This is called a metronome. Now, I have had this metronome since I was in middle school. I'm in my 40s. And this is a power horse. I don't know. This has been with me everywhere and anywhere. I've changed the battery, I think once or twice. It must have, I got this in New Orleans. Must have a little voodoo in it. I don't really know. But I've only had to change the battery once or twice. I think they're pretty cheap. They're light. But a lot of times phones have metronomes as well in this. Sometimes the phones are better because if you want to put in the actual number of the beats that you just put it in. Here you actually have to use the up and down. But I've just kind of old school. I like it. You can always have it around. You don't have to phone, because also think about it, your phone's going to be buzzing and doing other things. This is just it. And you just turn it on and it has the beats and has the sound to it. So as you're practicing your scales, you want to go. better and you get better at it, you can just start increasing it. Unfortunately, you actually have to push it a little bit. I wish it was like just hold and push. And this is probably the one instrument or the one accessory that people don't, my cat's going crazy in the background, that people don't use well enough when practicing the scales. They sit down and they run through it, or any sort of music or issue or problem that they're running into, they just sort of play it and then they go, oh, I've got it. And then I said, did you play it at the beat that it's meant to play at? Because if you can play it slow, work your way up, and then you can play it faster. So that's really the only two things that you need. And yeah, so each day has different sorts of, has some tips for you on how to improve on yourself. I add in the scales and have some stickers and things of, you know, what were the challenges that you had and what are things that you're going to do forward. So I hope you purchase the course and the ebook. You get some great resources along with it, access to a private YouTube channel where I provide you some additional information beyond just what's found in the book. So I look forward to it, and I hope to hear you play.